Welcome to the first video for the statistics portion of the course. And there's no real content that we're covering today. We're figuring out how to get RStudio downloaded and installed on our computers. And then we're going to use this package called Mosaic. So that's what we're going to do. I'm actually looking at the link that's provided in D2L. So the cool thing about RStudio notebooks is that they can be posted online and then they can be downloaded. And so this is what you should do. You should go to this link and don't worry about downloading it yet. What we're going to do though is we're going to get you started downloading RStudio. So I'm going to actually show clicking on this link. Right, and so you'll come down here and choose your version. The key thing here is to make sure that you select free and download. And then when you click download, it's going to tell you which of your, it guesses what you have, right? So it's guessing that I have Windows, which I do. If you have Mac, it'll pull up the most recent version, but don't do this one. I want to be clear that you have to install R first. So to explain, there are two different things that are going on here. R is the engine. It's the statistical programming engine that runs in the background. The software, the front end, is the RStudio, which provides a nice interface for us to be able to run R more like software that we're used to, menu driven, and so forth. And it makes it a lot easier. So be sure when you go through this that you install R first. And I'll click on this just to show you. Install it. Don't just download it, but install it. And you go to download R for Windows, and then this right here, the install R for the first time is what you want. Sorry, install R for the first time is what you want. All right, so that's what you're going to do, install R. Once you're done with that, then you're going to come back to the RStudio install. This is where you're going to download the recommended RStudio and go ahead and install that package. And when you're done and get that open, you might pause the video here until you get that open. So now you're in RStudio, and you won't have this. You'll have this area will be blank. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to New File and to try to open an R notebook. Now, what'll happen for you? Me, it's just going to open an untitled R notebook. But you will get a message box here saying that I need to download some packages, and just say yes. The answer is yes, and it'll take about 30 to 40 seconds to go through all of those messages. You'll see things here popping up, and also down in the console area. You'll see things down here, but that's what you want. And then you want a blank notebook. So let's talk about the R environment. So the coding window is right here. This is where we put all of the code that we're writing. And then the console, this is under the hood. So the down here in the bottom left is showing you what the R engine is actually doing. And these windows aren't as important. We will look here occasionally, but that's more pro type stuff over on the right. So what you can do is you can minimize the amount of area that's being shown over here. You might want a slightly larger area because the plots will show up. You can minimize the amount that you're looking at the console. Okay, so you've got a new notebook, and so let's go to preview because it's going to show, oh, and I need a title for it, so let me call it junk. And so it previews this nice HTML document for us. And sorry, I'm trying to resize this on the fly. Let me pause. And when you preview this, you get a nice HTML document. And then the cool thing is that it has these code boxes that show you what our commands are going to be executed. So this is going to be cool. You're going to have these notebooks from me, which are going to be the text of our course. And then you can either copy paste these commands into your own notebook, or you can download the notebook and view it in our studio, although that might be a little bit difficult because you see this is how it shows up. Still, let's take a look at this blank document, and this is just standard stuff they put in to show you what's what, and I'm going to delete it. And so now all I have is the title and the output, and I'm going to hit preview, and so now you'll see all I have is the title. Okay, so switching back to our studio, I want to get a couple of things done. We want to load a package called Mosaic. And let me show you how that's done. So if you go here to Tools and Install Packages, this is where we want to go. And so it's going to, don't worry about this, it's going to grab from these online repositories, it's going to grab the requested package. And what we want is Mosaic. So if you start typing MOS, you notice that the autocomplete pulls up here with Mosaic, and that's the one we want, all lowercase Mosaic. Leave all of this alone. Checkbox on the install dependencies, yes, when you install a package, sometimes there are some other packages that the package needs. So this is going to pull all of the packages that are needed to run Mosaic in. And when you hit install, it's going to give you a message, and you want to, generally speaking, you want to say yes to this. I'm going to cancel because I've already loaded Mosaic, but that's how you get it. And you're gonna have to pause the video because it's gonna take about 60 to 90 seconds to install Mosaic. All right. There's one other thing I want to do. I want to set the working directory. So session, set working directory. So we can go to choose directory. So I'm leaving this up for just a second so you can see set working directory. What's happened is when R was installed, it created a folder in my documents area. In the documents area, the folder is called R, and then that's going to be the default. That's where it's going to go to look for data files. That's where it's going to save things in the current working directory. So click on choose directory, click on your documents, and then scroll down, and it'll have this R folder, right? And it'll create some of these things. I created the images folder, but some of these things are based on are things that R has created. Set this as your working directory, okay? And the final thing we'll need to do before we can have certain things work, well, we've installed the package Mosaic, but to use it, we have to load it. And there are two commands that'll do it. Library, open parentheses, Mosaic will load, sorry, I forgot to, that I'm in, I have to create the code fragment, right? So you can do that with all in one go with the hotkey. You can type that if you'd like. You can just type, this is underneath the tilde, so right underneath the escape key, I'm hitting that 3 times, and then putting R, and then after my code, I put 3 of those, and then now you have a code block, and this is the cool thing about code blocks. They have these little play buttons, and it'll run that chunk. And now my library will be loaded, and I can use different things from it. So you can also use require here. So there are 2 different functions that will load Mosaic, and now I can use all the Mosaic tools that we have. So checking back online. Wait, sorry. I want to go back. Right. And so I can see these different functions, right? So I can actually just, in the HTML document, I can just copy, and I can come into RStudio, into my blank document, and I can create a code area, right? I just you're using the insert here. And then I used the hotkey, which you can see it's the Control-Alt-I is the hotkey, and it's slightly different. You use Apple and Options and I if you have a Mac. And now I have this code section, and I can do rflip, and then I can execute it. And it flipped a coin, and it came up heads. So you can either start a blank notebook and copy paste from the live notebook that's online, and then come to your document here and put in another code fragment. Wait, sorry, so Control-Alt-I, and then copy paste this code fragment, and then hit play, and then you can hit preview or Control-Shift-K on a Windows machine, and so now you've got, it shows the code that was executed, and then it shows what turned out, what the output was. And here we did 20 versions of the coin flips, and we get a nice little table showing us what the results were. So that's what we want to do with right now, our studio. We want to get our studio downloaded. We want to try opening a notebook so the packages that we need to run our notebooks is available. Those packages are all available for us. We want to install packages, and the package we want is Mosaic. And then you want to play around with the commands in the R notebook that's posted online, and learn how that works. And again, with the Mosaic stuff, with the things that are posted, you'll need Mosaic running. So we'll use library Mosaic or require Mosaic to get that happening. So that's your task. See if you can get RStudio downloaded and running, and play around with these commands that are at the end of the notebook. If you have any questions, please hit me up in chat or request a meeting, and we can go online and share screens and show you what's going on. So definitely get this downloaded as soon as you can, and let me know if there are any problems.